I'm David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and silly one. Today's post, top reasons Trump's boss is happy. Why Vladimir is Putin on a happy face. Vladimir Putin may be stuck in a war with Ukraine that isn't working out as he'd hoped, and his economy is on the skids, but his employee, Donald Trump, is making old Vlady plenty happy. Here's why. 1. All Trump's subordinates are drunk, crazy, stupid, or all three. Think about it. His newly resigned Secretary of Labor liked a day drink. His Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare proudly admits he snorted cocaine off a toilet seat and says he once had brainworms. His Secretary of the Treasury thinks Iran is blockading the Straits of Hormuz. His Secretary of Education has concerns about A1 in schools. His director of the FBI has been outed in Atlantic magazine as someone who drinks excessively and sometimes fails to show up at work. And his Secretary of Defense may or may not be an alcoholic, who may or may not be in recovery. So if Russia at times is attacked just right, no one will be able to wake up our leaders to make decisions, and Vlady will be able to take over the White House and the country without firing a shot, except maybe shooting someone on Fifth Avenue because Donnie was too chicken shit to do it. Number 2, we're running out of missiles. It's just been reported that the king of wishful thinking and Pete Hegseth have used so many missiles in Iran that we may not have enough to protect ourselves when the shit really hits the fan. Number 3, he's breaking up that old gang of ours. The Hunchback of Notre Dame has done almost everything he can to break up NATO, the alliance that protects us from Russia, except formally removing the U.S. from the pact. He'll get around to it eventually. Number 4, no one trusts us anymore. The Epstein monster is so erratic that no one knows what to think. One minute he says he'll destroy an entire civilization. The next he's asking a DoorDash granny about trans men and women's sports. And the minute after that, he's tacoing out and saying he's going to give his enemy another chance. And another, and another, and another. Number 5, Trump wasn't in Vietnam, so he learned nothing from it. He allowed Benjamin Netanyahu to lead him into a war with Iran that there's really no winning, just an opportunity to sink more and more resources and prestige into a losing effort for no good reason with no end in sight. Just like Vietnam, only Captain Bonespurs wouldn't know anything about that, not only because he got out of serving in the military in the 1970s, but also because he says avoiding VD in the 70s and 80s was his own personal Vietnam. Number 6, he's supporting Russia's economy. The bottleneck in the Strait of Hormuz means that more people will need to get oil from somewhere else. And now that the fool on Capitol Hill has waived sanctions on oil from Russia, they can sell their fuel on the international market. And thanks to shortages everywhere else, they can sell it at even higher prices, which allows them to bring the Russian economy back from the dead. Number 7, yes, he's funding the war in Iran. I know this one's complicated, so please stay with me here. In case you haven't heard, Russia and Iran are allies. In fact, Russia used drones it purchased from Iran to attack Ukraine. Depending on where you stand, that's bad, but it gets worse. After the U.S. began bombing the Islamic Republic, the country was able to turn to Russia for satellite intelligence. And it's not your average intelligence either. Not like you'd find at the, Genius Bar at the Apple Store. Russian satellite imagery not only helped Iran track troop and ship movement in the region, it also allowed Iranian drones to take out key radar facilities that included hidden radar installations that might have been important in the ongoing war. I say might have been because we'll never know what role they could have played since they were all destroyed. Number 7, he's paying Iran to kill our troops. If Russia used the oil money to gather intelligence, which it shared with Iran, which it used to launch a drone attack on a hidden radar installation, and 6 American soldiers were killed in that drone strike, well, you do the math. I assure you, Putin already has. Boys and girls, can you say useful idiot? Good. I knew you could. That's it. Show isn't exactly over, but there's nothing left to see here. Right now, anyway. But keep your popcorn at the ready and your champagne chilled. I've been David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and really irritated one.